Hello and welcome
to Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And this is the podcast where we tell each other stories like fairy tales and folk tales and mythology.
And also, you are here.
Oh my god, welcome.
Hi, guys.
What's up, guys? Hi, Max.
Oh, and hi, Janey.
Welcome to the podcast. We're happy to have you here. The only people that aren't invited are squares and children.
Yeah.
If you're a fucking square or a fucking child, get out.
Yeah.
Squares babysit the kids while the adults listen to this cool podcast.
Children, throw that ass in a square.
Max, no, I don't even think.
Be in a square.
Max, I don't.
Sit down in a square. Is that not what that means?
We're going to workshop this. I really wish you would run things by me before you tested out new material on the podcast. We will talk about this later.
Sorry, I went off script. In case you guys didn't know, this entire podcast is always scripted.
It's fully scripted, even the butts and farts parts. Guys, hello, and we hope that you're having a wonderful start to your year. It's 2025.
Yeah, this is our first episode that we're recording in 2025.
That's true. And it'll be the first... No, you're right. It'll be the second episode that comes in. We're in the middle of January.
Time proceeds.
That's true. So we hope that you've been having a wonderful thing. This is coming out on January 16th.
Yes.
Which is my cousin's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to your cousin.
Hey, happy birthday. She doesn't listen.
We also have an exciting event coming up.
That's what I was trying to work my way around to figure out a natural way to bring that up.
You were doing a really good job.
I was doing a terrible job.
I just figured I'd give you a hand.
Please help me.
On Saturday, January 18th, we are going to do a live recording of episode 150.
Yeah.
Which is coming up. So the details for that are on our Discord, which you can get onto by getting on the Patreon. It's $3 a month to get onto the Discord. $7 a month gets you a full-length bonus episode every month. But everyone on our Discord is going to be able to tune in for the live episode, which we will probably be recording on Zoom.
Yeah.
Probably will be in the evening Eastern time on the 18th. We haven't set a time yet, but we're going to keep you guys posted about that on our Instagram and
just so you guys know, it's only January 4th right now for us.
So we're trying to get our shit together.
So I know it sounds like we are like, you haven't given them a time yet. It's in 2 days. Listen, you're getting it in 2 days because you're not on the Discord. They know all about it.
But we'll keep you guys posted with information on the dates and times, and we would love to see you there.
Yeah. Exciting. On the Discord as well is where we put all of our polls, and we genuinely don't know how to run a podcast, and so we ask you guys for your advice a whole lot.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to have any sort of like say-so in how we did our live show, you should have been on the Discord. They helped us figure out how to do our live show.
Yeah.
And what they wanted. And even kind of the time. Really, Discord is running the show. We're just kind of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the kings, we're the little clowns.
We're the friends who say, hey, do you want to hang out? And you guys are the friends that are like, okay, we're hanging out on Tuesday at 5 p.m. at this location. And we're like, great.
Okay, I'm going to be an hour late.
That's me. I'm that friend.
I'll tell you, I'm going to be an hour late, 15 minutes late.
So you'll be an hour and 15 minutes late?
Don't worry about it. Okay, so, Max, excellent.
Janey, also excellent.
I think I did a great job.
You did really good.
Oh, man. So this is episode 149, and I'm going first. Do you want to just jump into it?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll chat along the way.
Yeah, let's put our feet in it.
Let's put our feet in it. Ethel.
Janey.
No, it makes me Lucy. God, Max and I gotta go and watch I Love Lucy. We'll be right back. Okay, Max.
Okay, Janey.
Max, okay. You know what is something that we didn't mention? We have a new shirt up.
Yes, we do.
In TeePublic. So, guys, I didn't realize for a very long time that on Spotify, it lets you leave comments on the episodes.
I think that's pretty new. I haven't been able to see them.
Fairly new, right? Yeah. And I saw for a little while, like a couple months ago, I was like, oh, there are some comments. And so I saw a few comments and I was laughing and I put a few of them up. I was like, that's kind of fun. I didn't realize that like there's like hundreds of comments on there that people have just been doing we haven't been reading.
Uh-oh.
And now there's a feature where you can reply to them. And so I was like, great. Yeah. So I just spent a couple hours going through all the comments and replying to a bunch of the comments, and it was very fun.
If you haven't listened to any of our April Fool's episodes, then this has spoilers for the content of our first and second, and third April Fool's episodes.
Listen to the April
Which
Fool's
are all
episodes.
of them.
They're quite fun.
Yeah.
You can find the April Fool's episodes on our website, www.sortofthestory.com. That being said, the most prevalent comment was about people being like, Keith isn't real? What the hell? And I was responding to all of them, Keith is not real.
Yeah.
No. But which is funny because it's a year later. And so, like, just in case you're still confused.
Hey, just following up. Yes.
Can confirm, not real. So now there's a t-shirt up on our TeePublic that says Keith is not real. So if you have a friend named Keith, wear that shirt around him.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
Or give it to him.
Keith is not real. Or wear it to a Keith Urban concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to go to a Keith Urban concert, now here's an excuse to buy my shirt.
Wear it to a Kenny Chesney concert. When we blast, be like, it's about Keith Urban. He's not real.
Spreading the good word. Keith's not real.
He's not real.
It really is just a strange inside joke.
Yeah. If you're really into the Try Guys, you could.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Unofficial Try Guys merch. Keith isn't real. He's too tall. It's not possible.
If you love Toby Keith,
Yeah.
he's not real.
That's not. No. He's just Toby.
Yeah.
First name Toby, last name Toby.
Toby. Okay. So anyway, and more merch will be coming soon. In fact, in between now and then, there might be more merch up already, but I'm not psychic. I don't know
Who
what I'm
knows?
going to be doing next week.
Who's driving this bus?
Miss Frizzle.
Yeah.
And she's feeding on your fears. Okay.
Oh,
So, Max,
Janey.
I have a story today.
Good.
It is an Irish story.
Uh-oh. I also have an Irish story. What if this is the time?
I told Max. Max said that
happened?
she had a story that was driving her crazy, and I said, what if we are telling the same story today?
Oh my god.
My story's not driving me crazy. I just think that'd be fun.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm going first.
Okay. I'm really scared now.
The story is called The Snow, the Crow, and the Blood.
Not mine. Good. Probably not mine.
Tag yourself. Snow, Crow, Blood.
Crow.
Blood. Okay, this is told by Seamus McManus. It's edited by D.L. Ashleman, but I got it online, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I linked to where I found it online. I found this story by typing in folktales for winter.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Hey.
Okay, so it starts out with this, quote, "One day in the dead of winter, when the snow lay like a linen tablecloth over the world, Jack, the King of Ireland's son, went out to shoot." End quote.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful winter. Does it snow in Ireland?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know why I think that's insane. That's insane. By the way, this is a story. This is a lot of tropes that we have heard time and again, just so you know. But there's part of it that genuinely I think is so batshit crazy that I decided to just tell you the same story again.
Fantastic.
So Jack is out in the snow. He is hunting, and he sees a crow, and he shoots it. So how do you feel about choosing crow now?
Bad. Dead.
Yeah.
Dead. I
It
guess I
falls
feel
down
hurt.
dead into the snow.
With blood. Well, how do you feel about being blood now?
I'm fine. When he went to retrieve it, he saw that the crow was really black. And Max, the snow, was really white.
Except
And that
for...
blood was really red. And that made him, understandably, really horny.
Yeah, so this is a Snow White story.
Kind of. Not kind of. I think
the
it's
bloody ricotta, that whole...
well, so he's like horny as hell, right? He's like, I'm so turned on by this bloody snow and this dead crow. And he says to himself, I'll never rest till I get a wife whose hair is as black as that crow,
Yeah.
whose cheeks are as red as that blood, and whose skin is as white as that snow. Yeah.
You're describing a clown.
So he went
She's
home.
got to have a big red nose, giant shoes,
black eyes. Like a doll's eyes. So he went home and he told his parents the good news. He was getting married. And
someday.
They were like, who's the lucky lady? And he was like, well, she's black and white and red all over. And they said, you're marrying a zebra in a blender? And he's like, no! I'm marrying the woman of my dreams. This isn't a joke.
I'm marrying the newspaper.
It became clear that he was insane. By the way, I don't know where I first heard the zebra in a blender punchline to that joke, but I remember very clearly being a child and telling my dad that joke and him answering a newspaper at the same time that I said a zebra in a blender.
The newspaper is like the classic joke, and then I think at some point in like I don't know, like probably like the 80s or 90s even, it was subverted because it was a joke that everyone knew the answer was a newspaper, and they were like a zebra in a blender.
Yeah. Anyway, I just really liked that. That was the moment that I liked. It became clear that he was insane, and his parents were like, hey, can we talk you out of this weird project? We think it's insane. But he was insistent that he had to go out. He had to find this crazy hot woman who's white and black and red. Mm-hmm. So they gave him their blessing and 100 guineas, and he traveled very far away. I looked up.
They were like, you're crazy. Here's some money. Get out of here.
Get out. Get out of our house. I looked up how much a guinea would be, and it said it was basically the equivalent of like £1, which is like $1.25.
Yeah, not adjusting for inflation, though.
I know, exactly. So I'm like, that's not like what it would be today.
Yeah, I think guineas were worth a lot more.
They had to have been. Otherwise, he just ended up having like $125. It's not a lot that the king is giving him.
Also, pound sterling has recently been reduced, so it's almost equal to $1.
Hey.
Yeah, inflation in the UK.
We love dragging people down to our level. On about the second day of his journey, he was passing a graveyard, and Jack saw a crowd there wrangling over a corpse.
Normal.
Yeah, that was a quote. Mm-hmm. He walked up, and he's like, hi, why are you doing this? What's up? And there was a bailiff there, and he was like, we're seizing this corpse for a debt of 100 guineas, but his stupid family doesn't want us to take the corpse. And Jack's like, what are you going to do with the corpse if you get it? And he's like, take back our money. And he's like, does the corpse have money? He's like, no, we're going to do it in other ways. And he's like, for what?
Well, no.
Jack's like, now I'm also invested in this. And so Jack's like, well, how much does he owe? And they're like 100 guineas. And he's like, okay, well, I feel bad about this. So he forks over his 100 guineas. And he's like, here you go. Leave this corpse alone, you freaks.
Listen.
Yeah. Max thinks that we should have let him abuse the corpse.
No.
Oh, okay.
Did you know, especially with medical debt, companies will purchase existing debt that hasn't been paid in a long time and that people, like, they kind of assume it's not going to be paid. They will purchase that debt for, like, a percentage of the cost of the debt, and then they will pick up trying to take that debt, basically. So a lot of the really predatory debt collectors are people who've purchased medical debt from the original, creditor. So basically what they do is they're like, okay, you owe $100.
Yeah.
And the people who you owe $100 to are like, oh, please give us $100. And then at a certain point, like, it goes to collections and everything like that.
Yeah.
And once they've kind of given up hope that you're going to give them $100, they will sell it to someone else for like $15. Mm-hmm. So they get $15 instead of $100, which is better than $0, right?
Sure.
And then the other people will start calling you, and they won't be necessarily bound by the same laws as creditors are. They'll start calling you and being like, hey, you owe $100. And they'll use really, really predatory tactics so that they end up making $85, right? Because they paid $15. So that's like a thing that happens in the United States in like the credit industry and everything like that. Mm-hmm. I have read stories that are similar to this before. And I've had this thought, he could have been like, how about 50?
Oh, he should have haggled.
Yeah, he should have been like, I can give you 50 to let this go.
They're like, no,
50 is better than 0.
We also really want this corpse, though, you know?
Yeah, I'm just saying that he should be more like a predatory credit agency in the United States.
All right, so there's a moral. It's immoral, but that's fine. Okay, so he hands over 100 guineas. He does not haggle. He is not a predatory debt collector, which is wild. What if he then started beating the shit out of this guy's family to get the money? Anyway, the corpse
United States.
By the way, this takes place in Cleveland. Forgot to tell you. The corpse's friends thank him and then bury the body. That night, a little red man caught up to him as he was walking. And he was like, where are you going? And Jack said, I'm in search of a wife. Unbothered by how little and red this man is.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would be rude.
I mean, I guess it's just uninteresting.
Or he just has manners. You can't just ask people why they're little and red.
Yeah, why are you so small and red? I I also think, depending on the shade of red, maybe he's just like so turned on that he actually doesn't care why the guy's so little.
Oh, no. He's like, do you happen to have 2 differently colored siblings that you could stack on top of Rita Trenchcoat?
The man said, quote, "Such a handsome young fellow as you won't have to go far." Like, oh my God, stop, little red man. You're so bad. Do you have 2 differently colored siblings?
If you were with me, I would treat you like a king.
Jack told him that actually, he'd probably have to go pretty far because he was searching for a woman who was black like a crow, white like snow, and red like blood. And the little red man said, "Oh, I know that lady." Oh my God.
Oh.
That's the princess in the East. That's like a really good way to describe her, actually. Wild. She's super hot. Everyone agrees. But tons of brave men have gone to court her before, and they all fucking died. So.
Goals.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of love her.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, I think this is great.
Mm-hmm.
This only excited Jack more. He said, "For life or for death, I'll never rest until I reach the princess in the East and court her." And the little man said, "Well, you'll want a boy with you. Let me be your boy." Does he want a boy with him? That's the last thing that I would want on any mission is a boy.
Well, now, the last thing I would want on any mission is a man.
Oh, that's true.
I feel like a little guy, though, could be fun.
Okay. You want a boy with you? No, I won't.
Could be fun.
I want a girl with me. Get out of here, you little red man. You're hot, but you gotta go. Jack was like, "That's a really sexy offer, but I can't pay you. I have no money. I gave it all back to that corpse guy's bailiffs." And the little red man boy said, "No, it's fine. I'll do it for free." And Jack was like, "Well, okay. No further questions." And they went on their way.
Doesn't even ask his name or anything?
No.
There goes my manners.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jack's a little rude. Late that night, they reached a great castle, and the little red man told Jack that that was the castle of the Giant of the Cloak of Darkness. I think that name could use some work. It's very hard to type and to say.
Yeah.
Jack had heard of this guy, and he wanted nothing to do with him. He's like, this giant kind of sucks. Like, far and wide, he's known to suck. So, like, I think we should keep going.
Word has spread across many kingdoms that this guy just really fucking sucks.
But the little red man insisted they stop. He's like, "We're here, and I'm tired of walking. We're going inside."
Mm-hmm. So
they walked up to the gates, and a terrible giant opened them and asked, "What do you want?"
They were like, "Wow, you do suck."
Oh my God, this guy sucks. The little red man told him they were looking for supper and a bed for the night.
One bed?
Bed for the night.
Just one?
It's so important to me that the story specifically says this guy is like, "We want a bed."
One bed. And he's like, "We have 2." And he's like, no, we could never.
Not
just
interested.
One is fine.
Not interested in what you just said. The giant said, "That's good. I want supper and a bed too." "I'll make my supper off you both, and my bed on your bones." And then he laughed really hard, and Jack was like, "Ooh, that's a terrible sound." And like the hair on his head stood straight up, and he's like, "Ooh."
Yuck.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy really sucks.
Jack's like, "Stories are true, can confirm." But in a flash, the little red man pulled out a sword and attacked. And the giant also managed to pull out his sword, and the two fought like crazy. Jack could barely track their movements. They were fighting so fast. But eventually the little red man ran the giant through and killed him. And Jack and the little red murderer went inside and ate a big meal, and they had a good sleep, which means that there was like already food and beds in the castle. The giant lied. Like, he wasn't hungry. He didn't need a bed of bones. The little red man took the cloak of darkness off the giant before they left the next morning and traveled on.
Wait, so now hang on a second.
Yeah.
So now this little red man is wearing a black cloak.
Woo! He's getting so hot!
I just feel like...
You're almost there. What if the end of this story is Jack falls in love with the little red man?
I would love that.
Yeah.
Next, he's going to find a little white tuxedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you predicted the end. They traveled on and on the next day until at night they reached another castle. The little red man informed Jack that this was the castle of the Giant of the Purse of Plenty. Again, I don't like his name.
Mm-hmm.
Jack had heard of him, and he was terrified because the Giant of the Purse of Plenty was a dick. But the little red man was like, no, let's knock on the door. He might not be a dick.
Mm.
When they knocked on the door, A giant with 2 heads came out roaring and asked, "Why the hell are you here?" And the little red man was like, "We want supper and we want a bed." A soft one. The giant responded that he also wanted those things, so they're not special.
Sure.
He said he'd make a supper out of them both, and he'd make a soft bed of their bones. At which point I want to say bones aren't soft.
No.
Not only a dick, but he's an idiot.
Well, he is a giant, so he can grind the bones to make his bread. Or to make his bed.
He's gonna have a bread bed.
Classic bread bed.
Classic bread bed. Then the giant laughed and laughed, which made the hair stand up on poor Jack's head. But the little red man whipped out his sword, as did the giant, and they fought long and hard until the little red man had stabbed the giant through his heart, killing him as well. And that night, they ate their fill. They probably, destroyed those bread beds. And they slept soundly until morning. Then they left, and the little red man took the purse of plenty. The next day, they walked and walked until they came to another castle, just as night was falling. This was the castle of the Giant of the Sword of Light. Of course, Jack was reluctant to stay there, but the man was like, "Hey, fear never made me turn my back on man or mortal yet, and I don't think I'll begin this late in life, so let's go."
Yeah.
I would like to say man and mortal, same thing.
Sure.
As soon as he rattled the gates, a giant with 3 heads came out and roared until the hills shook. And then he was like, "What are you doing here?" And
what the hell are you doing here?
What's up, guys? What you doing? The little red man was like, "Hey, can you take us in, give us bed and board for the night?" And the giant laughed and said, "I'll board myself on you 2 this night, and I'll bed me on your bones." I think he might have some oxygen loss.
Not enough lungs for all 3 of these heads.
This guy, this also weirdly feels more sexual than the others, but less.
I'm gonna bone
cohesive.
you.
I'm gonna bone you right in the bed. I'm bored. That's the 3rd head.
Yeah.
He drew out from his scabbard the terrible sword of light, quote, "whose flash traveled thrice round the world every time it was drawn, and whose lightest stroke killed any being, natural or enchanted," end quote.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea that every time he takes the sword out, everyone in the world is like, "Oh, God. Oh, my God. Whoa, again?" I think it's fun.
I agree. I think that's also fun.
But the little red man had a trick up his sleeve. He drew around him the cloak of darkness, making him disappear completely and making Jack super horny. Those are his favorite colors. Then he drew his own sword and he began, quote, "whacking and hacking," until about 2 minutes later he had run his sword through the giant's heart and killed him. And then he and Jack went inside, ate their supper, slept comfortably in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
With the purse of plenty. The rest of their journey was pretty comfortable. They traveled happily, far and long, until one day they finally made it to the east, and they pushed on to the castle of the princess. Before they knocked on her gates, they took their horses, because at this point they were traveling on horses, because they were flush. They took him to a blacksmith's forge and had them shod with gold.
Oh.
Little golden shoes. And as they left, there was a little beetle who was like, "Me too, please."
I'll have what they're having.
Then they rode on to the castle. At the little red man's insistence, they did not knock on the gates. No. They simply put their golden spurs to their horses and they leapt over the castle walls. Not knocking at all.
Rude.
Quote, "When the servants and soldiers saw the pair come bounding over the castle walls upon horses shod with gold, they ran out in wonder," which, fire your soldiers.
Yeah.
"From the purse of plenty, the red fellow, as Jack's servant, pulled out handfuls and handfuls of silver and gold, scattering them among the crowd." End quote. So they're showing off like crazy.
Yeah.
They're making it rain. The servants ran to the princess of the east and told her all about this rich and handsome gentleman who was here to court her. They were like, "Hey, he leapt over the castle walls. His horses are wearing gold shoes. They're making it rain with heavy gold coins. Concussions abound. You're going to want to get out here." It's getting pretty hairy out there. So she was like, "Okay, well, bring him to me then. I want to see this guy." And when he saw her, he was enchanted by her beauty. Her hair was so black. Her cheeks and lips so red. Her skin so white. He had never seen anyone as beautiful.
Her shoes, so big.
Her ears, so wide. She's an elephant.
Oh.
She smiled and said, I understand you have come to court me. And he said, that I have. And she said, okay, well, everyone that comes to court me must accomplish 3 tasks. And if you perform all 3, you will win me. And if you fail in any one of the 3, I will put you in my garden of heads. Cool? And he said, what?
Go back to the Garden of Heads?
And then she took him to the Garden of Heads.
Nice.
And she showed him 365 rose bushes. And for every flower, there was a man's head on every bush. It makes me think that there's multiple heads on each bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just doing that math also, where I was like, okay, 1 bush for every day of the year, sure.
Yes.
But then I was like, rose bushes have more than 1 rose on them.
Yeah, they have a lot of roses.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of heads.
A lot of heads.
Brag. She turned to him and said, there's 1 bush without a flower yet, Jack. But in less than 3 days, I hope to see your head flowering on it. And Jack was like, oh, so you're a psycho. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
And that night, she fed him well. She's like, eat more, Jack. And he's like, what am I eating exactly? And then
Let's get that head nice and plump.
And then they got real drunk on wine. And they chatted for a long time. And he's like, she's psychotic. And then she stood up and she's like, okay, good night. But as she got up, she turned around suddenly and then pulled a golden comb out of her really black hair. And she said, one more thing. Quote, I will wear this golden comb all night. I'll spend the night from midnight to cockcrow, neither on the earth nor under the earth. Yet you must have this comb for me in the morning, and it must be taken from my head between midnight and cockcrow. And then she stuck the comb in her hair again and was like, or I get your head. Goodbye. And then she left. She's like, that's your first task.
Sure.
And Jack was like, oh, cool. So I can't do this.
What was that? She said neither on earth nor
Under the earth.
under the earth.
Not going to be on, not going to be under.
In water?
That's on earth.
Just in the pool? No, that's in water.
I think everything's on. No, there's earth underwater.
Maybe she's going to be like, she's going to have a little harness and she's going to be hanging from a flagpole. Just flowing in the wind.
She hoists herself up by her underwear. She's like, can't wait for that head. I'm fine with this. She's so psychotic.
Did she say she will be in neither of those places, or did she say that she will rest in neither of those places?
I'll spend the night from midnight to cockcrow, neither on the earth nor under the earth.
And then she said he has to get it between midnight and
Cockcrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So neither not on the earth nor under the earth. Hang on. I'm going to get this.
And she's like, and I'll be poking that that rooster real early.
Yeah.
Cockcrow is not a reliable
No.
time.
No, what if the rooster has a nightmare?
She's banking on it. She took the rooster to the head garden earlier. Showed him the horrors.
That rooster's getting no sleep tonight.
I love she has a smaller garden filled with rooster heads.
Woo.
See you soon. And he's like, oh.
Oh, God.
So, Jack is sad about this. He's like, well, my head's going to go on that bush. And not in the fun way. And then he wandered glumly out into the garden to wallow.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it the Garden of Heads? Is he just walking around that weird graveyard? The little red man joined him.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a little red man.
I forgot.
How psychotic she was made us forget the whole beginning.
Was he just hanging out and drinking wine with them?
I think that he just he wasn't with them. I like to imagine that he went and hung out and got drunk with the servants. So the little red man joined him and was like, what's wrong, Jack? Why do you look so sad? Also, where the fuck are we? Oh my God. And Jack was like, okay, so here are the conditions of the first task. Also, you really forgot to mention that she's crazy. So I feel like that's crazy. A little bit on you. I assumed that people died doing her tasks. I didn't realize that she murdered them with her own 2 hands, I assume.
She has a garden full of heads.
She loves it. The little red man told him to hold his beer, and then he left. He's like, I got this.
Did that actually happen in the story?
No, he was just like, I got this.
Okay.
Again, I assume he was drinking with the servants.
I prefer to think that he's drinking with the 2 of them. Like, they're just like, I just really feel like, the way that you treat people, I think is a reflection on, like, yourself in a lot of ways that people don't even really think about. And they're just, like, swirling their wine. The little red guy's like, that's so true.
So true, bestie. Pass the hors d'oeuvres. The hors d'oeuvres. The little red man put on the cloak of darkness and waited outside of the princess's door until midnight. And 1 second before the stroke of midnight, the princess came out of her room with a golden comb in her hair and, quote, went off to hell.
Oh, no! Hang on. That's not a puzzle.
There's no way to predict that she just offs to hell.
What the fuck? Also, is that not under the earth?
I thought so too. I think she's just like dimension hopping. The little man, wrapped in the cloak of darkness, followed her.
Normal.
He's like, off to hell I go.
Hooray.
The princess didn't stop until she reached hell, and then she went right in, and the little red man followed right behind her. The devil was really happy to see her. The 2 kissed and then sat down side by side and began to chat.
What?
While they were doing this, the little red man snatched the comb out of her hair and left, and he made it back up to earth, and he gave the comb to Jack. So, they...
Is this the part that's insane that made you want to tell this story?
Yes. Well, the first thing was I really liked the Garden of Heads.
Yeah, sure.
Big fan of that. But yeah, her and the devil just like chatting. Went off to hell is one of my favorite things that has ever been written in a fairy tale. Also, I just love the devil was really happy to see her. They kissed,
like, hey.
And then they sat and they just chatted all night. Like, they literally just sat next to each other and like talked and talked and talked.
That's her boyfriend.
That's her boyfriend. Or her best friend. I don't know. They were roommates. Don't worry. Don't make it weird.
We don't kiss. I'm just saying.
That's true. In the morning, when she appeared at breakfast, Jack handed her the golden comb across the table. He was like, here you go. And oh, Max, she was pissed. She's like, that's my comb, you thief.
The one that...
You thief.
Right.
That night, she was like, okay, so you've passed the first task. Don't know how you did it, but that's fine, because you won't pass the second. She showed him that she was wearing a diamond ring on her finger. She's like, I'm engaged, actually.
To the devil.
To the devil. And she was like, so the same rules apply tonight. I'm not going to be on the earth nor under it. And you have to somehow get this ring off of my finger. Good luck with that. Because you're not going to be able to do it. And you have to give it back to me tomorrow morning, or I get your head and it goes on my bush. Not the fun one. Jack went down to the garden again, and he was like, what am I gonna do? He's like talking to one of the heads.
And the head's like, oh,
I don't know. And the jaw falls off. Okay, the red man appeared again, heard the deal, and then left with his cloak of darkness. Again, a second before midnight, he followed the princess down to hell and watched her kiss the devil and sit side by side with him to chat. I love them.
They're planning their wedding.
They seem chill as fuck. They have like a really nice thing going. While they were chatting, the little red man stole the ring off her finger and gave it to Jack. Mm-hmm. When she came down to breakfast the next morning, he handed her the ring across the table, and she was doubly furious.
Sure.
Mad.
I just feel like at a certain point, we have a lot of stories of like women setting, like, you have to do this in order to
marry me.
Marry me.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot where they assume that the thing is impossible. Like, a lot, they're like, it's really difficult. But this really seems like she's trying specifically to make it impossible to...
She is. She doesn't want to get married.
Yeah, to, like, solve the puzzles that she's put forward.
Yeah.
That it's not like a curse or anything like that. She's just like, you have to do these things that I deem impossible in order to be dating me, because she has a boyfriend.
Yes, and it also doesn't seem like this is something that the devil tells her to do.
No.
It's, like, genuinely, usually, if the devil's involved, it's like, he put this thing, like, there's a curse on this thing,
yeah.
Or he's hiding it. He's not. She's going down to hang out with her boyfriend, and whatever they have to steal is on her body.
Yeah. It really just seems like, I don't know, like, Honestly, after the first challenge, I would be like, it kind of seems like you don't want to get married, so I'm just going to leave you
Yeah,
alone.
like, I don't want to, like, impose. Yeah, no, that's how Jack should have taken it. He doesn't. So the next morning, he passes her this ring across the table, and she's fucking pissed. She's like, God damn it, Jack. You're a real thorn in my side, you know that? She insisted that he would never be able to accomplish the third task, so it's fine. She'd have his head, God damn it. Right? That night, she told him the conditions of the last task. Quote, I will spend all the time between midnight and cockcrow, neither on the earth nor under the earth, and I want you to have for me in the morning the lips I shall have kissed while I have been away. Your head I'll surely have now, for the sword was never yet made by mortal man that can cut those lips. And then she left.
Devil's got some strong lips.
Try to cut his lips. Many have tried. A weird amount of people have tried to cut off his lips.
He's got a firm kisser.
This is her telling Jack, I spend every night kissing somebody else. I'm with someone. I have a boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
I'm not interested in you.
And he's got the strongest lips you ever saw.
Those lips are Schwarzenegger strong. And then she left. She's like, I don't even want to fucking look at you. Jack walked sadly to the head garden and lamented that he'd for sure be on that bush the next day. I'm guessing he's going there to see his bush. But the little red man appeared and told him, keep your chin up. And then he laughed and laughed and laughed because he was drunk. He's like, I'm going to see what I can do. He also reminded Jack that he had the Sword of Light, which was not made by a mortal man.
Ah.
So he'd be fine.
Classic. Gotcha.
Yeah. He threw on his cloak of darkness, and he took the Sword of Light with him in its sheath, and he followed the princess to hell. The devil welcomed her with a kiss. He was like, hello. He like leaned in with his lips pursed. And as he did this, the little man raised the Sword of Light and cut off the devil's lips and ran as fast as he could out of there.
Well, hang on. Mm-hmm. He has to get the lips that her lips have kissed. He went in too early.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Found the loophole.
I found the loophole. The lip hole.
Oh, ew.
I didn't like it
No,
at all.
that was bad. Jack handed the princess those lips, which is gross, across the table the next morning, and she shook with rage and just like threw everything and ripped everything apart and tore out her beautiful black hair and was just mad. And then Jack was like, cool, if you're done with your temper tantrum, I demand your hand in marriage. And she had no choice but to consent, like a real fairy tale, Max. As soon as they were married, the little red man gave Jack a wedding present. It was 10 blackthorns.
Okay.
I would like to apologize in advance for how this story ends. He told Jack to break one of the blackthorns on his wife every morning for 10 mornings.
Oh my god.
Which sounds like beat your wife advice.
I can't imagine what that is if not that.
That's exactly that. If he followed these instructions faithfully, he'd, quote, have a good wife on the 10th day.
Jesus.
Since the little red man had been such a good friend to him, Jack followed his advice, and he broke a blackthorn on her every morning for 10 mornings. Quote, for every blackthorn he broke on her, she was dispossessed of a devil, and on the 10th day she had lost all her rage and all her fury and all the devils, and she was the best and most perfect girl, as well as the most beautiful one in all the world. End quote. The end.
Well, hang on, because now she's got 10 devils in her?
No.
Does the devil know about it?
Oh my god!
Bad.
I love her so much, and I am very sad at the end he just like beat the devil out of her. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that sucked.
That sucked.
Okay, so here's some notes. The notes basically are just about the ATU types that we're seeing in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Type 506, the Grateful Dead man helps save the princess, otherwise known as the Grateful Dead, which is a very common trope and a band.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very famous band. Type 502, the Wild man as helper. Little Red Man is the Wild Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's never said in any of these stories that we've read that the Little Red Man or the guy that comes to help is the corpse, but it's usually just implied and assumed.
Yeah, we've had a couple of stories where the corpse, I think, helps.
Yeah, exactly. Type 519, Brunhilde, the strong bride. And she is. She's pretty strong. She has a lot of agency.
I guess.
It's taken away from her.
It feels bad that there's a type for woman who participates in this story.
Brunhilde.
And, puts forward a contest to the urges of the protagonist.
Yeah. The last one that is often paired with this story is 306, The Shoes That Were Danced to Pieces. I think that is because of her going to hell.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think that's because it's like, where's she going at night? And it's the traveling to a different dimension.
Yeah, we told that story on a previous episode of the podcast of the princesses.
The 12 dancing princesses.
Yeah, who every night they would sneak out of their bedroom and go and dance with fairy boys underneath of the castle.
Yeah, I remember when they blew it up.
Yeah,
the
like
whole
a Michael
castle
Bay movie.
And all of their fairy boys. Wild story.
Truly.
Anyway.
What a ride.
So that was The Snow, the Crow, and the Blood.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think what I like about the story is the devil is a good guy and he's hot and we love him.
Yeah, that's always good. We love that.
Yeah, love that. The devil does nothing wrong in this story.
No.
It could be said that it's wrong of her to have a garden full of heads, one for every day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to say that no, it's not. All these people are just coming up and being like, you're so beautiful, I'm gonna marry you.
Conservatively, right?
Yeah.
She has 365 rose bushes. Let's say conservatively each bush has 3 heads on it.
Okay.
I feel like minimum of 3.
Yeah.
That's like 1,000 people. So every day she's having someone come up to her and be like, you're so beautiful.
Yeah,
I want to. Eventually you would snap.
Eventually you would start fucking sending a message.
Yeah.
It's weirdly only making them want you more.
Which is weird.
Men are so weird.
Ugh.
Yeah, men. Yeah, it's real weird. It's a strange little life she's leading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to take a little break?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back. Goodbye.
All right, Janey.
Okay, Max.
The story that I have for you today is called The Horned Women.
Yeah.
Stop. It's from Fairy Tales of Ireland by W.B. Yeats, illustrated by P.J. Lynch, and this collection is edited by Neil Phillip, who's a folklore specialist. W.B. Yeats was the editor for a bunch of fairy tales from Ireland, and Neil Phillip put together a series of the best of those into this collection.
Okay.
It's a very fun little book, and I like it a lot. This story, as part of this collection, is originally from a book called Ancient Legends, Mystic Charms, and Superstitions of Ireland with Sketches of the Irish Past, which is written by Lady Jane Francesca Wilde. She is a figure in 19th century Ireland. She is a suffragette. She and her husband, the Lord Wilde, are like very...
Lord and Lady Wilde is the coolest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, I agree.
The Lady Wilde is my new name.
Yeah,
So.
It's really good. Also, her son is Oscar Wilde.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Have you seen the guy on TikTok, the super attractive guy on TikTok that does Oscar Wilde, like, reading people?
Mm-mm.
I think you might have. And I can't even begin to quote him because it's so niche and he does such a good job. I'm gonna let you see it later.
Okay. So this is by the Lady Wilde, mother of Oscar Wilde.
That's amazing.
She herself is a very accomplished woman. She learned 10 languages by the age of 18, supposedly.
Okay.
People just were different back then, I guess.
There are people who are like that, though. Who
No,
just
I know,
pick
yeah.
up languages like that and just, like, fluently speak them everywhere.
A lot of
Crazy.
times in, like, Victorian Britain,
Yeah.
a lot of people seem to be like, oh, yeah, and also just for fun, he knew, like, 8 languages. And
It might have been how they were educating them, too, because, I mean, they
Yeah.
are like that in, like, Norway and Sweden, you know, like,
Yeah.
in Scandinavian countries as well.
It always just gives me a moment of pause. But she was married to the Lord William Wilde, who was basically an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He opened his own hospital. And the footnotes for this collection, Fairy Tales of Ireland by W.B. Yeats, mentions that Lord William Wilde, in his hospital, when he had patients who were poor and who couldn't necessarily pay for surgery or medicine or anything like that, he would accept payment in folk stories.
Cool.
Very cool. So
What if you were like, I'm so boring and poor? Damn.
Well, have I got a podcast to fix you?
We'll make you rich.
Hey.
You have to join our fun little empire to be your own boss, of course.
Yeah. It's a pyramid scheme.
What would we sell?
Nose medicine.
We would sell nose medicine, and you can too.
I lost the track of this bit.
Join us.
So she's married to Lord William Wilde, who accepts folktales as payment at his ear, nose, and throat hospital.
Cool.
He wrote a couple of collections of these fairy tales and also some of the folk cures that he came across and a bunch of other things. He passed away, and then she collected all of his findings into this book, or actually 2 books, and published them. And then the book that is currently in print is those 2 books combined, which is Ancient Legends, Mystic Charms, and Superstitions of Ireland with sketches of the Irish past.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. The footnotes for Fairy Tales of Ireland also specifically is like, a lot of them are made up. A lot of them are just like they had an idea and they were like, we heard this from an old widow, which is fine. Yeah. It's not like a really good folkloric resource. They were kind of just rich people who were like, isn't
quirky.
This a fun little... Yeah, which is great. Yeah. And we have a bunch of stories that we wouldn't have otherwise, but they definitely were like rich people who just did this for fun. Yeah. Which is what most of like European folklore, like Western European folklore collecting in the 1800s was. Yeah. But anyways, so this story is specifically by the Lady Jane Francesca Wilde. There are iterations of this story mentioned in the footnotes. They say that there are other versions of this story. I haven't been able to find any, but I swear to God, I have heard this story before, like a slight variation on it. Mm-hmm. The main thing that's different in this version of the story is that the women are horned. In other versions, the women are not horned, but that's like what the title of the thing is, so it's not a spoiler.
We thinking like 1 horn or 2 horns?
That's a really great question. I'm just going to get into it.
Okay.
There is a wealthy woman, and she is in her house. Her family and her servants are all asleep, and she is awake by the fire. She has a bunch of raw wool that she is up late preparing in front of the fire. As she is sort of combing through this wool, she hears a voice and a knock at the door, and the voice says, "Open, open." And she says, "Who's there?" And she hears kind of the voice behind it, but she can't really hear what they're saying. So she goes over to the door and she opens it, thinking it's a neighbor of hers who maybe needs help. And she sees a woman, very, very tall, black hair, wild around her face, and one single horn growing out of the middle of her forehead.
Like a unicorn.
Like a unicorn. And she's holding 2 wool carders, which they're like...
Combs?
They're like brushes, kind of, like flat brushes.
Like
that you
the
use for
needle
hair.
combs?
Yes, yeah. Exactly. And this woman says, "I am the witch of the one horn." And then she kind of bustles past this woman into her house. And she sits down next to the fire and she starts carding the wool that the woman is working on. Oh. Huh. Yeah, and she's doing it super fast also. Like, incredibly fast. Impossibly fast, almost. And strong. And she just sort of works in silence for a couple of seconds. And then she looks up and she says, "Where are the women? They delay too long." And as the woman of the house is wondering what the fuck this could possibly mean, she hears another knock at the door.
You motherfucker. You think I don't know what you're goddamn doing right now? You're gonna come into my goddamn house.
That's what she says to them.
And just retell me the fucking Hobbit. As if I wouldn't recognize the worst book I've ever read.
Well, you got it. You picked it up. One of the reasons why I picked this story is because there's a very similar scene at the beginning of The Hobbit called An Unexpected Party, where all of the dwarves show up at Bilbo's house, and they're like, "Excuse us," and he's like, "This is my house," and they're like, "Yeah, we know," and then they just like come into his house and start eating all of his food and everything.
This is a very enjoyable part to read in the book.
Yeah, it's super fun.
I was duped by the beginning of The Hobbit.
Yeah, that's honestly my favorite part of that entire series.
It's really
fun. It's so funny. It's so funny in like a weird, like in a weird fairy way, honestly. Yeah. Like just a bunch of people coming into your house and you're too polite to be like, "You can't come in here."
Honestly, though, that's kind of how I would be.
Yeah.
If you have enough authority and confidence, everyone around you just kind of like cows to your will.
Yeah.
Including in their own houses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I think is really funny. I think that this is a hilarious bit.
Yeah, it's good.
But I swear I've read this in a different folktale and I could not find it. But the main thing that I was thinking of was The Hobbit. Yeah. So there's another knock at the door, and she hears a voice outside say, "Open, open." She goes and she opens the door. A slightly more squat woman with 2 horns.
Oh.
Carrying a spinning wheel. bustles her way into the kitchen and is like, excuse me, give me place. I'm the witch of the two horns. And she sits down next to the first witch and starts spinning the wool that the first witch is carding.
Yeah. Okay.
So
she's like, those are my chores. I actually kind of like them.
um
This is a hobby, but okay.
And then she hears another knock at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And this continues. Witches continue to arrive, each with one more horn than the last. Until at last there are 12 witches, with a number of horns ranging from 1 to 12.
I'm imagining really cute little horn, like, crowns.
Yeah, I was also picturing that.
It's cool.
Oh, one of the other reasons I wanted to tell this story is because I just love the image of these women with the horns.
Or maybe, really like, cool. A horn mohawk going down the middle of her
That'd
head.
be fun. I'll show you some art at the end of it of, like,
there's
how
some
different...
horns on shoulders.
Ooh, that could be good.
Yeah.
She could be like a stegosaurus. So now there are 12 of these witches, all with horns, packed into this woman's kitchen. Mm-hmm. And they're all doing various... Some of them are carding wool, some of them are spinning the wool, some of them are weaving. And they all start singing together in a strange tongue that this woman doesn't recognize. She can hear, like, the rhymes and everything, and it's like a chant song that they are all singing in unison at, like, different tones and everything. But it's not in Irish. Which is what this woman would be speaking. Mm-hmm. She sort of dazed, like, sits down in one of the only chairs that's left and just kind of hangs out. And she starts thinking, like, oh, I should get out of here. Or, like, I should call for my family. Like, something is wrong. And she finds that she can't. Possibly because she's too afraid. Probably because she's enchanted. One of the women breaks off from the song and turns to her and says, "Rise, woman, and make us a cake."
Fuck you.
This is my house.
I didn't invite you here.
But, like, dazed, she's just like, okay. And she starts looking around and she can't find, like, anything that she could use to carry water. She finds, like, her either cornmeal or flour meal, some kind of meal that you could use to make a cake. Yeah. But she doesn't have water here. Like, she would have to go to the well, and she doesn't have, like, a bucket or a bowl or a pot or anything like that she could carry the water in. Mm-hmm. And so she's looking around and she's like, I don't know how I'm going to get water to make this cake. And the same witch calls out to her again and says, take a sieve and bring water in it.
Okay. Baba Yaga did this one.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
We had a Baba Yaga story where Baba Yaga was like, take this sieve down to the river and bring me full of water. So this woman takes the sieve. I really should... Anyways, it's fine.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. We call it a strainer here in the U.S., so we don't use sieve a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're not from the U.S., let us know how you say it.
Yeah. Sieve. Sieve
sounds right. Sieve looks right.
Sieve sounds like the verb form, and then strainer sieve sounds like the name.
Is what we say here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A strainer. She took a colander.
Yeah.
So she goes out to the well with her colander. Mm-hmm. And she tries to scoop up water in the colander, and all of the water comes out of the holes.
Yeah.
Obviously, because that's what it's designed to do. Mm-hmm. And she tries again, and all of the water pours out again. And she's kind of standing there outside of her house in the darkness, like dead of night, complete silence everywhere, trying to fill a sieve with water. Yeah. And she has, like, a moment to think for a second, and she's like, oh my God. This is so fucked up. Oh no. Oh no. I don't have a pot, and they want me to make a cake, and I have to bring water, but I can't bring water because it won't stay in the thing. And if I don't bring water, what are they gonna do? And and so she just slumps down next to the well and starts to cry. Yeah. She cries for a little while, and then she hears a voice behind her. And the voice whispers, "Take yellow clay and moss and bind them together and plaster the sieve so that it will hold." And so she hears this voice, and she looks around. She finds a little bit of, like, moss on the ground, a little bit of, like, thick clay that she can mash together into like a thick paste. And then she pastes it over the bottom of the colander and uses it to scoop up water from the well. Yeah. And it holds the water.
This sounds like a Survivor challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she does this and starts to run back to the house. And then she hears the voice behind her again and it says, "Return. And when you get back, cry 3 times. The mountain of the Fenian women and the sky over it is all on fire." Yeah. And the voice has told her to do one right thing. So she's like, sure, I'll do that. So she gets back to the house, And she stands outside. She can hear them inside, like singing and humming and groaning. And she can hear like all of the tools inside being used in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And she stands outside the house and she calls out 3 times. And she says, "The mountain of the Fenian women and the sky over it is all on fire."
Mm-hmm.
Now, just a quick pause. Fenian in Irish mythology.
Fionn? Finn?
Yes, Finn
Okay.
McCool.
Yeah.
This is spelled Fenian. Fenian.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, it's the descriptor for the stories of Finn McCool. So the
Okay.
Fenian cycle is one of the cycles in Irish mythology. There's the Ulster cycle, the mythological cycle, and the Fenian cycle,
Okay.
which are all different kind of like eras or like plot lines within Irish mythology that are at different points in Irish history, quote unquote.
Yeah.
The Fenian cycle is specifically concerned with Finn McCool,
Mhm.
who is a like fictional hero character. There are also the mythological cycle is primarily concerned with the Tuatha De Danann,
Mhm.
which are the people who used to live in Ireland who are sort of pressed underground and eventually become the fairies.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention that a little bit later because I have thoughts on this story. I have a lot of thoughts on this story and notes that I would like to send back in time to the Lady Wilde.
She sounds hot. In my head, she looks like the actress Jane Seymour, who played
Oh.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and sells the Special K, like, heart jewelry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that that was her.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
And she's, like, beautiful and
Is she
calming.
British?
Yeah.
What? So she stands outside and she cries that the Fenian women's house is on fire. This is implying that these women are Fenian women
Yeah.
and that their home is on fire as well as the sky above it. I'm just taking this really step by step.
Yeah.
She hears all of them cry out inside and they all burst through the door and they hop up and they fly away, jabbering to each other about like, oh my God, our home is being destroyed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they fly off to their home, which is Slievenamon, which is it's like a mountain that is their home place.
Okay.
So they all fly off to Slievenamon. The woman looks in and sees that her kitchen is kind of like abandoned. There's nobody in there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They've all left their tasks where they were. And she leans up against the door frame and just like sinks to the ground in relief.
Yeah.
That she's gotten all of these witches out of her house.
They weren't doing nothing.
Yeah, that's one of my main notes.
They were
is, like,
doing her
why?
chores.
Yeah. And then she hears a voice from the well again. And the voice says, "You're not done yet. They
Yeah.
will come back.
You gotta
and they will be mad.
Ward your home.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what to do to enchant your home against the witches so they can't come back."
Mm-hmm.
She listens and then she does as the spirit of the well says. She takes feet water,
Okay, Ethel.
which is water that she's used to wash her children's feet.
Why'd you save that?
That's a really good question. And it says that all of her family are asleep. And I'm going to get to it in a second, but they're all still asleep.
Hmm.
So it's not like she's washing their feet now, I don't think.
Maybe it's just like a little basin that she keeps near the door, and then she like has a day that she empties it out,
Maybe?
you know?
Why would you keep the feet water around?
Because like it was obviously a big deal for her to go get water, so it might just be like before you come into the house, you have to wash off your feet because you're running around barefoot, and then like every other day we change the water out.
Maybe. I just feel like I wouldn't want feet water in my house. But that's just me.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm crazy. So she takes feet water
Mm-hmm.
and she pours it on the entryway to her house, like just outside of the front door. And then she goes and she finds cakes that the witches made while she was at the well.
Like the little nipple covers.
Nope.
I have those. They don't work.
This is where my notes begin. This isn't necessarily explained. So the way that I would read into this is that the witches got tired of waiting for her to come back.
So they made their own cake.
They made their own cakes, but they didn't have water. So what they did, which is omitted from the story, is that they took blood from her sleeping family
Oh, fuck.
to make cakes. So she
Okay.
goes in and finds these blood cakes that have apparently been made in her absence.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that does make him a little more evil.
Yeah, that's not great.
No.
I don't love that it's like kind of thrown in after the fact, after they're gone.
What if they all just took turns spitting in it?
Yeah.
Spit cakes. Or what if they used the feet water?
What if they use the feet water?
Gross. They're like, there's water right here. It smells fine.
I mean, it's water that's full of dirt, which is what the water that she brought back would be.
Yeah.
Full of dirt.
And foot sweat.
And foot sweat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Ireland, though. I mean, how sweaty are their feet going to be? It's really cold.
Oh.
So
I don't know.
So it really makes you think, you know?
Well, Max, you really have given me a lot to think about.
So she goes and takes the cakes that were made at a previous time in the story.
And she eats them all.
No. She breaks the cakes up into little pieces and she feeds the little pieces to her sleeping family.
No! They spit in that!
No, they didn't. The cakes are full of blood.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I made up something and then that became canon.
When she feeds the blood cakes to her family, they wake up from their apparently enchanted slumber.
This reminds me of the Bloody Oatmeal story.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same rules are applying here.
Mm-hmm. And then she takes the cloth that they've woven and she goes to a big chest that has a padlock on it. And she puts the woven cloth half in and half out of the padlocked chest.
Okay.
And then she takes a big old crossbeam and she jams it into the front door so that it can't be opened. Really good way to keep witches out.
Lock your doors.
Lock your door.
And now they have to be there till they die.
Yeah.
They can never leave the house.
There you go. Sometime later, the witches return, and they are all screaming and shouting for vengeance.
Oh my
They're
God.
like, we know you tricked us. Our house wasn't on fire. We did the whole trip for nothing. And they walk up to the front door, and they say, open, 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 feet water.
Oh, that's her nickname now.
And that's her nickname now. And the feet water, which has been sprinkled outside of the entryway, says, I can't.
Oh.
Sorry. And then the witches call out again, open, open, open wooden trees and beam. The beam that she put in the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
And the beam says, I cannot. Sorry.
Sorry.
They don't say sorry, but it feels, that's the energy.
I like the sorry after it.
Wish I could help, but.
What if I could?
And then they cry out again and they say, open, 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 cake that we have made and mingled with blood.
Okay, so that's where you get that from.
Yeah. No, like it explains it at the point in the story where she's feeding it to her family. They're like, also, by the way, while she was out, the witches made some blood cake from her family's blood while they were sleeping.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Open, open, cake that we have made and mingled with blood. And the cake says, I cannot, for I am broken and bruised, and my blood is on the lips of the sleeping children.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Metal as hell.
One of these things is not like the others.
No.
I can't. I got the absolute stuffing kicked out of me.
And I was eaten.
I got eaten.
The feet water's like, damn.
You can chill.
That sucks.
And hearing this, the witches scream and shout and rage, and then they all fly back to Silveraman, cursing the spirit of the well who has stymied their efforts to go in this woman's house and do her chores. One of them, as they are fleeing, drops her magical witch mantle, like her cloak, and the family keeps it and had it in their possession for well over 500 years. The end.
What made it magical?
Mm.
Is that how they're flying?
Mm.
She just falls out of the sky.
I don't think it's how they're flying because she still flies away.
Yeah.
But the woman goes out and takes it, and now it's like a family heirloom.
Okay, so what's to stop them from coming back? Eventually it'll rain, the feet water will be washed away. They'll unlock their door at some point.
I think it's probably, for the feet water, I think it's probably kind of like the, like holy water.
Yeah.
Where you can put any amount of holy water into regular water and it all becomes holy water. So at a certain point, all of the rain that touches that area will be feet water.
So what you're saying...
Foot by association.
You're saying that foot water is the same as holy water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
As everyone knows, this is how the Pope blesses water. He sticks his little stompers in it.
Squish, 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 squish.
So, I have some thoughts.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to criticize the Lady Wild, but I'm going to.
Yeah. No, fucking read her for filth.
Yeah. So this story's wild.
Ooh.
In a bad way.
Oh. Wild without the E.
Yeah. This story is pretty crazy in a bad way, and a lot of it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she want these women in her house? Again, they're just doing her chores.
I think it's the idea, to me, it's the idea of like witches, all witches, no matter who they are bad. If you have an infestation of witches. An infestation of witches is my band name.
That's a really good band name. But, like, they're not doing anything wrong. They're helping. They're doing it at, like, it's kind of like a Rumpelstiltskin of, like, they're doing her chore for her very, very quickly and well.
But they also, while she was out, went into her home and would have killed her. If this is the same rules, which it sounds like it is, the exact same rules as the bloody oatmeal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then her family would have died. If
Maybe.
she hadn't have gotten the advice from the spirit of the well, right?
Well, it doesn't sound like they're going to necessarily use the cakes for anything. It seems like they're just like, we need cake, there's no water, let's use some blood.
Yeah, but like the guy also didn't really do anything. He was like eating bloody oatmeal and stuff like that, and he was like, haha, we bled them dry and now they're gonna die unless they eat this bloody oatmeal.
But that's not stated in this at all.
I know, but like because we know how this works,
Maybe?
It sounds to me, and that's an Irish story, you know, and so it sounds to me like she heard this story, like the Blackthorn walking stick, or a similar story, and then took those tropes into this one. So it does sound to me that the witches are evil. It sounds like the Christian belief of like, no matter what, the witches are bad. You don't want them in your home. They're a threat to your children. Why don't you have your cross up? Where's your feet water? I don't know. The feet water is a new thing.
I can justify a lot of this, but it bothers me that there isn't like an in-story justification for what they're doing wrong.
You're right, because it really just seems like they're like hanging out, having girl time. And why did they choose her house?
Why did they choose her house? And again, why is it? Because also none of the bad stuff happens until after she's already gone out to get the water.
Yeah. Also, why doesn't she have a cup?
I don't know. Why doesn't she have a cup?
That's a weird part of the story.
Yeah. Why doesn't she have a cup?
She presumably has to give her children water.
They're so dehydrated.
Oh my god, those kids.
Their blood's like molasses.
I was going to say, yeah, their blood is like Jell-O. Like they have to scoop it out.
Also, the spirit of the well. She seems surprised that the well is talking to her, but this is a well that's on her property. Yeah. Maybe it's something that's like been awakened by the presence of witches, or maybe she's just never been in need before. But apparently there's a spirit of the well on her property. Yeah. Just for fun. Spirit of Well doesn't ask for anything. It just happens to know exactly how to prevent this very thing. And
there's no Christianity in this story. And that's the thing that's what's getting me. So I'm like, the Spirit of the Well, I guess, could be like an Irish god. Like who's the Irish god of water? Yeah. A goddess of water. There is, I can't remember.
There are lots of like representative gods, but I also, they're like spirits of like all of nature in Irish mythology. Kind of.
So this doesn't seem to be a Christian story.
No.
You know?
It could very easily be like the voice of God spoke to her.
And they could have also said, bless the house. I'm also like, it's very obvious the lack of crosses and even like horseshoes and stuff like that. Like all the classic representations of like warding off evil in Irish stories.
Also worth mentioning, Lady Wilde was a fierce Irish cultural nationalist, where she was one of the people who specifically was like, we need to maintain Irish culture. We cannot be completely like absorbed into English culture. We need to maintain these stories and everything like that. Good. So it's kind of weird that this doesn't line up with any Irish folklore or anything like that. God. Or any Christian folklore.
That's why they raised such a hot son. He's hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't think he is?
No, I do.
Yeah, he is. They raised
It's just like, that's how you get a cool guy.
That's how you get a cool, interesting guy that remains cool and interesting throughout history. Yeah. You know? They sound like really fucking rad parents.
They really do. Feet water logistically just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. No. But also, what could the possible meaning of the feet water be? My thought was that it would make a whole lot more sense if the feet water was water that she had used to wash the witches' feet when they came in. Mm-hmm. Because that's something we've seen in stories too, is like someone comes into your house and demands to have their feet washed or something like that. So it would make sense if there was like a personal connection between the witches and the water, where it's like, oh, you can't cross this because this is like, this water contains the places that you've been before or something like that.
Or if the children, like in Snake. Or if the children had been stomping around on hallowed ground. You know, like they had been in a graveyard and then brought that dirt back and that was what was washed in the water. That would ward off witches.
Maybe.
in a lot of other cultural things, you know? But yeah, no, that's a very strange. It's just like, do the witches ever touch the ground? They do.
Yeah.
But they touch the ground in her home. Maybe witches can't touch the ground.
I don't know. It feels like a big
Yeah.
leap to go,
It is.
you know?
That's a very strange detail that isn't explained.
Also, the mantle.
Yeah.
One of them drops a mantle on the way out. It never mentions again the cloth that they were weaving that's in, like, half in and half out of the chest.
Yeah, why does it have to be half in, half out?
I don't know. But also, like, what happens with that? You know, like, it seems like, so this kind of seems to me like someone heard a story at the same time that they heard a bunch of other stories, and they kind of, like, jumbled them all together in their mind, but then didn't justify any of the details.
Yeah. Cool imagery, though.
Really cool imagery. Also, the beam across the door, really just a wild detail to be like, and also you have to get magical plank and nail it over your door so no one can come in.
But you can't go out either.
Yeah. Like, what could that possibly be for? And the witches don't call out to the cloth in the chest or anything like that. It's just, there are a lot of details that I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
Something, sort of a half-baked idea that I have.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Quarter-baked, maybe.
Okay.
The Fenians, Finn McCool.
Yeah.
The Fenians are an army.
Mm-hmm.
They are specifically, like, the Irish equivalent of, like, a holy army.
Mm-hmm.
And they, like, have some magical qualities to them. They're not necessarily for or opposed to magic. They exist in the same world as it.
Mm-hmm.
And they specifically call out, like, the Fenian women's home is burning. It doesn't make sense that these are Fenian women.
Yeah.
Because they're witches. The Fenians are just people.
But the Fenians are giant, and they mention that first woman is extremely tall.
I don't know.
That's the only connection I can make between these, you know?
It would make a lot more sense if these women were part of the Tuatha De Danann.
Yes, it
the
would.
Fae people.
Especially the horns and stuff like that. That's extremely Fae-coded, yeah.
Yes. Also, the way that, like, the rules that you have to keep them out, that's Tuatha De Danann. That's not Fenian.
Yeah.
The Fenians are just people,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So that doesn't make any sense for that to be that. So I think that these women are actually part of the Tuatha De Danann. I also think that the well spirit is a brownie.
Yeah.
Or a boggart.
Yeah, like a little helpful guy.
Maybe.
A boggart, really.
Or a little evil guy. Because these women come in, right? And they come into this woman is up late and she's processing all of this wool. Mm-hmm. Presumably she's up late because it needs to be done soon and she, like, wants to get this done. I guess it says in the story she's, like, a moderately wealthy woman. So there's not really, like, maybe she could have someone do it, but she wants to do it herself or something like that. Yeah. These women come in and they help her. And at, like, preternatural speed, they are able to, like, create this cloth that is, like, of the highest possible quality. Yeah. They don't ask for anything except for a cake, basically, which is, like, a really basic hospitality thing that she probably should have offered them when they first came in.
Yeah. But she didn't invite them in.
Yeah. They just come in. They're not invited. But they show up at her house for some reason, which, to me, the reason why they would show up at her house is because she needs help. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Right?
They did seem like this did seem very benign at the beginning.
It did. I think that they showed up to her house because she needed help.
From other women.
Yes. Yeah. And that's also something that, like, you know, especially in, like, Eastern European stories, there are a lot of stories of witches and other kind of fairies that will come to your house and help you with something. Like, if you're really in, like, dire straits, they'll come and they'll help you and then they'll leave. So that's what that seems like to me, just from my, like, general folkloric understanding.
Yeah.
She goes out to the well, right? And she brings the colander out to the well. It is very weird that she doesn't have a pot, which makes me wonder how often she goes out to this well or if she has someone else do it for her. But
yeah, that part doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But she has this colander. She brings it out to the well. She can't fill it with water. And then she hears a voice from the well. And the voice from the well tells her how to fill it with water. And then tells her to go and tell these witches to get out because their house is burning, right? Using very specific language that, like, implies an understanding of what they are and where they're from, which, again, I really don't think is accurate because it doesn't seem like they are Fenian.
But they respond to it.
They respond to it.
The witches are the ones that call it the spirit of the well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. This story calls it the spirit of the well. I don't know if the witches ever actually say the spirit of the well.
Okay.
But I think this woman kind of assumes, like, the well is talking to me and this is the spirit of the well. While she is gone, talking to the spirit of the well and making a plan to, like, betray the witches, that's when the witches go and get blood from her family, right? Which also she's not there for. Yeah. Which is weird. And then they leave and they come back, and the well tells her to specifically like ward her house against these witches. Part of that though is feeding blood cake to her family.
Yeah, but again,
and like sprinkling tainted water on her front door and everything.
Yeah.
That all just seems weird for trying to keep away something bad.
It does feel weird, except the blood cakes. The blood cakes, again, is established. There's a precedent for the blood cakes.
Right.
That is evil. You know?
Yeah. But we've also had a couple of different stories with like blood-based food, and it has different associations.
Yeah, but in this very particular area, it doesn't. You know? I feel like Jane Wilde heard that story and then created this story out of that.
Yeah.
Was like, wouldn't it be better if it was a bunch of hot ladies? And yes.
And yes. Basically, though, my thought, and also the women don't like do anything in retribution. They're just like, let us in. And then she's like, you can't come in. And then they leave.
Yeah, they leave mad.
They leave mad.
Yeah.
I think that this is a territory dispute.
Okay. Okay.
I think that the spirit of the well is claiming this family.
Yeah.
And specifically the witches come to try and help. And this spirit, which is, I guess, neither benign nor malign, is like, get off my fucking property.
Yeah.
That's what makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
And especially with sprinkling the feet water over the entryway, the feet water probably would have come from the well. So that really feels like a marking of territory kind of thing. And it also, I mean, again, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything bad. And the blood cakes not being mentioned feels really, really weird to me in a way where I'm like, I don't know that that's like necessarily what happened.
Why would they send her out to make cakes if they were just going to make the cakes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
And also, like, making the cakes and then feeding it to her family feels like some kind of reinstatement of, like, a claim or right to me. Anyways, that's my theory, is that this is a
territory dispute between like a boggart and some witches.
Yes. But also, I just really love these horned women. So also doing some research, I was like, I feel like I haven't heard a lot of stories about horned women, and there aren't a lot of stories about horned women. A lot of them that we do have come from Egypt. A lot of the horned goddesses like Isis and the other one, Hathor. But there really aren't a lot of stories about horned women in any kind of folklore, which I think is because horns are associated with, like, the masculine. Yeah. Because usually only, like, male mammals will have horns.
In Scarlett St. Clair's books about Hades and Persephone, Touch of Darkness, all of the goddesses, the gods' true forms, they all have horns.
I think that's cool. I think horns are cool.
Yeah. And then they don't use their true forms, obviously, when they're in the mortal lands, because it'll blow everyone's mind.
Yeah. So we have these 12 witches who are all, like, horned witches.
Yeah.
Also, the imagery of that, like, horned witches, to me, feels like some kind of nature spirit or, like, farm spirit.
Yeah,
even.
Sounds like nymphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that the witches weren't doing anything bad. And that's my hot take. But also, one thing that I love about this story is that this came out at exactly a time when I am, like, 95% sure that J.R.R. Tolkien read this and that this was the inspiration for that scene.
It seems like it, right?
Yeah, I'm like so close. He was a folklorist and a linguist, and he specialized in, like, the British Isles and their folklore and their history, as well as, like, Nordic folklore. So I think that this is where the beginning of The Hobbit comes from.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. I wish he would confirm that and give credit to Jane Wilde.
Honestly, like, he had such a breadth of knowledge that I wouldn't be surprised if he
just didn't remember where he got it from.
Yes. Yeah. But also, I just love this as an idea of just, like, you're at your house and a bunch of people are like, hi, we're coming. And you're like, what?
I'm in here now. Move over. Yeah. Very fun.
Yeah. Which also feels a little bit like it came from a nightmare to me.
I really do. It's cozy in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's weird at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I have thoughts about this. I just feel like, and also the number 12. Anyways, I'm like I said, I'm going fucking crazy over this story because there's so many deals. And I'm like, wait a minute, why 12 of them? Like, why is it like the 12 months of the year? Because that also lends them to being like nature goddesses or like mother goddesses in a lot of ways.
Yes.
So it's like a whole fucking, anyways. Yeah. I'm going Pepe Sylvia over this one. And that's the truth.
All right.
So,
guys, message us on any of our communication channels to let us know what you think about the story and what your theory is, and if you think that the witches are good or bad.
Yeah.
I think they're bad.
I think they're fine.
Max thinks they're pretty good. She thinks this is a territory dispute. Let us know.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Max.
Thank you. I'm just saying if 12 witches came to our door and just were inside, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be like, come in, but I wouldn't be mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that would be kind of cool, you know?
Yeah, it would certainly be like an adventure. Like, you would let it happen for the memoir, for sure.
Yeah, someone would be like, hey, what did you do this weekend? And I would be like,
I was invaded. All right, guys. Hey, if you like these stories, go hit us up on Instagram, Discord, TikTok for now.
TikTok for now.
TikTok for the next couple days if the Supreme Court hasn't heard the case. I don't know. Things are happening with TikTok right now, and I'm stressed. Email us at sortofthestory@gmail.com. Go to our website to find all of our contacts. Let us know what you thought of these stories. Check out some pictures that we'll probably post.
Oh, yes. I do have pictures.
Let me see.
This is the one from this book.
Oh, they're old and they're crazy.
Rude.
No, they look really bad. These look like evil witches.
These ones also look like evil witches, the one that I'm about to show you. But, again, that's an illustrator's interpretation. I don't think that's necessarily...
It is. Yeah, they look evil.
They look like crones.
They look like gorgons. Their faces are twisted in a very gorgon, like...
Yeah, this one specifically really looks like
the East
Medusa.
Yeah.
Aegis.
They look like the East Asian, like, masks of the demons and stuff like that.
Oh, like Oni masks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Some of them have
those
like
ones
very
over there.
snake-like hair. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'll post these pictures up on all of those channels so you can see them. Rate and review this podcast. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Please leave us comments, because now that I know that I can respond to them, I'm having a blast doing that.
Yeah.
And you know, who knows? Maybe your comment will be the inspiration for a t-shirt.
Who knows?
Who knows? The person whose comment I used on our Instagram post was like, that's my comment. Oh my God, there's a t-shirt based off my comment. And I was like, that is fun.
That's pretty good.
That is cool. That's something you can just tell people. And yeah, join the Discord. Come hang out with us. We love you. I'm so tired right now. All of my little ending things are not coming out.
Also, don't forget, January 18th, evening Eastern time.
Probably around 7:30, I would guess. It usually is.
Yeah. We will be doing a live recording of episode 150. Do we want to announce the topic?
Do we have a topic?
Or we have library books, I thought, right?
Oh yeah, Max, tell them what we think we want to do with it. We don't know for sure, but I think this is a fun idea.
Do we want to just put it to the Discord before we announce on here?
Yeah, Max, let's save it for the Discord.
Okay.
All right, guys. So yeah, come join us on Discord in order to get the Zoom link. We want to hang out with you because we like you, we think you're fun, and we think you're cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Summer's around here, like, clicking around and shaking and just ready, so ready for this to be over. Let's head out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
There's a couple things I started doing last year that, for the most part, I learned on TikTok or from my therapist, and they worked. So I'm going to give you the list.
Sure.
Okay. 1, I started taking Mary Ruth. That works. The Mary Ruth multivitamin with hair growth. That stuff. My nails have never been stronger. Everything's very good.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one thing that worked. One other thing that worked is I started taking magnesium powder, like the Calm powder. That worked. That was a really successful thing that happened last year that calmed me down a bunch. And then there was another one, and I can't remember what it is. Can you think of what it could possibly be? It's like a TikTok thing. And I was like, damn, this works. Anyway, there's a couple things I learned off TikTok last year that I have been doing that I'm like, damn. Unfortunately, that works. And I'll be spending money on it for the rest of my life.
I have a couple also.
Yeah.
These are less like biohacks and more like just regular hacks.
Yeah.
I started keeping like a little scrub brush and a tiny little watering can in my shower.
Yeah.
And like a thing of like shower spray. And then when I'm in the shower, I'll clean the inside of the shower and then use the little watering can to like rinse the walls off while I'm in there. And it takes like 45 seconds and...
I keep the little watering can on my bathtub for the same thing.
My little watering can looks like a snail.
Cute.
It's really cute.
Mine's just a stupid plastic one.
Also, I started, as soon as I wake up, I get up and I drink a glass of cold water. It's stupid how much that has affected my life. It's truly stupid. Like, it's so fucking dumb.
I think we can both say one of the most positive influences we've had this year was our Finch app.
Yes.
We're not sponsored. We've never been sponsored by anyone.
No.
But the Finch app really does fucking work, guys.
It really does.
It worked for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple things that happened last year that I'm like, yeah, those are some positives that started doing. I started making my bed every morning because of the Finch app, and now it's just like second nature, and I love it.
Smart.
Yeah. Yeah, positives from 2024, bringing it into 2025. It's a couple more old people hacks. And I do feel like it's old people hacks because these are never things that I would have done in my early 20s. In my early 30s, though. Oh, boy.
I have the opposite experience where when I was in my like late teens and early 20s, I got super into a bunch of stuff that isn't real for like fixing everything about yourself.
Oh. Like a lot of like fad stuff?
Kind of, yeah. But also like a bunch of like vitamins that they're like, this will change your life. And I was like, great. And then it didn't do anything. And I was like, but I'll never stop. And like a bunch of like K-beauty stuff where it was like, hey, sleep with like a rubber band around your ear or something like that.
That's it.
What is it?
You sleep with a rubber band around your ear. Mouth tape. I was thinking this. Yeah. I was thinking this as I was getting tea because, you know, we always have the mint tea. But when I first started teaching, I would drink the tea because I was always sick. And there was never a time when I wasn't congested and also didn't have a sore throat and wasn't coughing like crazy. And this year, I have not been as sick as often. In fact, I've rarely been, this is a knock on wood situation, but I haven't really been sick at all this year for any substantial, memorable amount of time. And I attribute a lot of that most recently to mouth tape, especially not having sore throats all the time, is because it's forcing my, it's not mouth tape. I use kinesiology tape. It's the same exact thing and it's cheaper, but it holds my mouth closed while I sleep. So I'm not just drying out my instrument. And it also like, it kind of cuts down, I think, on like bacteria and stuff like that, that's building up and gross things.
Plus, it's really bad to breathe through your mouth when you're sleeping.
Yeah, it just is.
Yeah, it's just really bad for your respiratory health. So it kind of forces you to do that. I really liked doing mouth tape the times that I did it, but the problem is that now it's winter and my lips get really dry, so I have to wear like this like lip mask when I sleep. It's like it's like the Burt's Bees overnight lip mask balm, and it's really hard for me to wear that with the mouth tape.
Oh, I always do that with mine.
Really?
You can't wear mouth tape without it. I learned that the hard way of trying to put it on dry, and then I was like, wow, I just ripped off my lips.
Oh, no.
No. I like lube up like crazy beforehand, but the kinesiology tape, it sticks to around your mouth.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, but it was still like, I guess I was still moving my mouth a lot because it kept like slipping off.
No, I don't have that problem, but I do lube up. Lube up.
You do lube up. And
I do lube up. Nobody will ever accuse me of not lubing up. No, I just realized we forgot to close the curtains.
Okay.
Lube
Lube queen.